Yo, what's up, baby? This is Bert Watson, and you're listening to Radio MMA, because this is what they do and why they do it, baby, all night long, because they rolling hard, fast, and on the money.
Up next, I want to play a conversation I had last night with UFC cut man Don House. A very interesting guy he is, you know. I did not know a lot about him. Yeah, I knew he was a cut man, but man, I learned a bunch about him in this conversation, and I wanted to share it with you guys. Now, as everyone knows, Dana White last weekend did an interview after the fight card stating that him and Stitch Duran are not friends. But he went on the record to say that him and Don House are friends. So, I didn't want to make this interview all about Dana and Stitch, but I asked him about that whole situation. Also, Don also talks about how he got into training MMA fighters and boxers. So that's pretty cool, as well as how he got into the UFC as a cut man. He also gives an amazing story about himself and Tito Ortiz. The beginning of our talk, there's some background noise, as I believe he was in the gym, but quickly quiets down. So I'm going to play it for you guys now, and here it is.
Okay, guys, welcome back to the radio show, and let's bring in Don House. How's it going, man?
Good, man. It's going good.
Good stuff. So let's just start off by talking to you how you got interested in combat sports.
Oh, well, you know, I was a bad kid growing up here in Chicago, and I was always getting kicked out of school for fighting. And I think when I was about 10 or 12 years old, someone took me to a boxing gym, and I started getting trophies and pat on the back to beat people up. So I loved it ever since.
Are you now training boxers as well as being a cut man?
Well, actually, I started out as a boxer due to so many military injuries. Due to military injury and 7 knee surgery, I had to stop. So I started training fighters. I worked with about 13 to 14 boxing world champions. A lot of people don't know that. I actually got into cut man for the UFC, sort of accidental. But no, my background is mainly in boxing.
Yeah, for sure, man. Now, in the military, you were in the Army boxing, were you?
Yes, I was in Army boxing.
Okay, and I thought I read somewhere that you had a very impressive record. Just talk about that.
Yeah, I fought under Kenny Adams, the '88 Olympic coach. I had a pretty decent record, 73, I think, wins, like 60-something knockouts.
Wow.
So boxing was easy for me. It was just something that just came natural. Unfortunately, due to all these knee surgeries from the military, I couldn't continue. So I went to school, got a couple of degrees, started working, got bored, went back to the gym and started training fighters.
Ah, very nice, man. Very nice.
Yeah.
So just talk about some of the guys that you work with.
Oh, man, in the boxing industry, Diego Corrales, he's the IBF lightweight. Freddie Norwood, the WBA, what was Freddie Norwood? He was the WBA featherweight.
Wow.
Frank Elau was the WBA middleweight. Vince Phillips was the junior welterweight, IBF. Derek Harmon, NABF, actually fought Roy Jones. I just looked on the thing about 12 years ago. I'm like, wow, that's a while ago. Joanne Guzman, WBO. Whew, man, Berman Severn, that was my former heavyweight WBC title holder. We just lost that in January. Actually, yeah, we lost that title. He was sick that night, but hey, we lost it. Presently, I'm with Marco Hulk, the WBO cruiserweight champion out of Germany. Who else? Lightning Lonnie Smith, going way back now, former WBC champion. Man, I know I'm missing a whole lot of. It's going to come to me when we hang up, of course. But just to name a few.
Very good, man. Very good. So this past week, everyone knows there was a big blow-up between two of your friends, Stitch and Dana. Does it feel like Does it feel like right now you're walking a tightrope, trying to walk on eggshells?
No, not really, because, I saw Dana yesterday, and, like I said, man, I've been knowing Dana for years. probably about 10 years before the UFC. So we did a lot of work together. We trained fighters, some of the executives together. He managed some guys in the back. He evaluated some of my fighters in the past. So him and I, we've been around for a while now, you know. But no, I'm not on eggshells. I mean, Stitch said what he thought was right on his mind. You know, when a man feels that he's right, he got to speak up what he believes in.
Sure.
And you got to take your hats off to that. And he even said to me, he said, look, I got some things to say, and I'm going to say them, and I'm getting interviews, and he said, I know they're going to can me. And I said, well, hey, good luck with that, you know.
Yeah. Okay, man. Now, for years in boxing, there was always talk about fight fixing. Do you think fight fixing still happens in boxing and MMA nowadays?
Well, I don't think it's fight fixing in boxing. I just think that they know how to pick the right opponent.
Okay, the matchups.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Now, one thing I would say about MMA is this, right? When you got the UFC, and the UFC has 90% of all the top fighters on the planet,
Right.
they can have the best fights because at the end of the day, UFC wins. So at the end of the day, we don't care which fighter wins.
Right.
UFC wins. And when you don't have any competition, and you don't worry about other organizations to protect your fighters, like boxing. Boxing has like 50 to 100 promoters, and everybody get a fighter and they protect that fighter because they're trying to make them lose.
Right.
But when you're the only game in town and you got 90% of fighters, you're gonna fight the best against the best. Because at the end of the day, it's not about the fighters, it's about the UFC, it's about the organization, it's about that brand. So,
Okay.
I mean, go ahead.
Yeah, man. Okay, I'm totally on board with you there. So just talk about you were a boxer, and then you moved into training boxers, and then you got involved as well as a cut man. How did you get from stage 1 to stage 2 to stage 3?
Well, actually, I was like I say, Dana and I used to train a lot of fighters and executives together down in the gym.
Right.
Actually, they own the whole building now. And I was down there actually in their gym training Derek Harmon. We were preparing for Roy Jones. And Dana asked me would I train Tito. So I'm thinking, well, yeah, because I knew Dana was actually managing fighters.
Right.
And I said, sure, I'll train Tito. And the only thing I was concerned about was me going to Puerto Rico. That's all. I just want to go to Puerto Rico for 8 weeks, train
Right.
Tito, and let him fight.
Nice.
And he said, why you keep talking about going to Puerto Rico? I said, because that's where Tito lives. He said, no, he lives in Huntington Beach. I said, who the hell are you talking about? He said, Tito Ortiz. Never heard of him. I said, I don't know Tito Ortiz. What are you talking about? And he went and got a VHS tape and put it in, and this is what I saw when he put the tape in. This guy was kicking, scratching, and biting. That's what I saw.
Nice.
I said, Dana, what the hell is this? He said, this is going to be the hottest sport in America. Trust me on this. I said, what do you want me to do with this guy? He said, I want you to teach him how to box. I said, box? This guy's kicking and scratching and biting and, just elbowing. What the hell am I going to do with this guy? And he said, well, we'll pay you $1,000 a week and live to Huntington Beach. And that's how I got started. Actually, I got started training the MMA fighters first.
Oh, really?
Yes, I was training there. The first guy I had was Tito Ortiz. Then I worked with Rico Rodriguez, Theo Veronic, Carlos Newton, a little bit with Joe St. Pierre. Who else? Come on, the guy with the mohawk. He's killing me now. He's going to kill me. Chuck Liddell. I worked with all those guys in the beginning. And since I had most of the guys I was training, and since all the shows I was going to anyway, so what I would do is, half the car was my guy, so I would wrap their hands.
Okay.
So the other fighters was complaining, saying, wait a minute, I want my hands wrapped too. So Dana said, hey, you got to wrap the opponents. Of course, we never heard of that in boxing. So I started wrapping the opponents. And one day, it was only one cut man at the time, it was Leon Tabs. Both fighters got cut. Burt Watson at that time that was writing, he said, House, can you do cuts? Well, I've seen it a million times. Apply a little pressure, some adrenaline, I could do it. So I did it, and that's how I got started. Sort of accidental.
Wow. That's an awesome
Yeah.
story, man.
Yeah.
Okay, so in a typical year now, what percentage of UFC events are you doing? Are you doing 80% of the fights? 100%?
No, I'm probably doing right now probably about 70%.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't travel too far. You know, I'm still in the gym. Like right now, I'm in training camp with Berman Severn and also with Marco Hulk. So that was a fight in Chicago. I didn't go. That was a fight. I think Tennessee's coming up. I didn't go because Marco Hulk is fighting August 14th. So I want to concentrate my time with he's defending the world title for the 14th time.
Wow.
So I'm there.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time out for us, Don. Is there anything you'd like to promote or throw at your social media?
No, my son keeps telling me I need to do more social media. I'm just a guy that's just out having fun, enjoying his life, you know. I say I live the accidental life. I've always fallen to the right place in the right situation. So I guess God is my social media, you know, because they always put me in the right spot. So, you know.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time. I think some of the stuff you told us about, most MMA fans wouldn't know that about you. So, once again, thanks for doing this for me, man, and look forward to watching you on TV.
Thanks, man. You're right. Most of them don't know because I took a picture with Mir. He was sparring my heavyweight. Wow, you know how she trained fighters? Yes, many years. I grew up with the Mayweathers. We grew up. Actually, I used to fight with Roger and Floyd Sr.
Really?
Mayweather. Yeah, I grew up with those guys, so that's where I got my background from, fighting with those guys growing up as a kid.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, Don, thanks very much for doing it.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
All right, bye-bye.